Hello Astrobro subscribers. Today I'm going to be making a video on Exalted and Debilitated Pluto, and I guess this is really the last conventional video in the Exaltation and Debilitation series. For the next two videos are going to be Rahu and Ketu, and if you notice so far, all of the exaltations and debilitations have been 180 degrees away from each other, and Rahu and Ketu are always 180 degrees away from each other. So their exaltations and debilitations are going to be a little different. I'm going to have to categorize them a little differently. So, with that being said, let's get into Pluto. What is Pluto, and more importantly, what is an exaltation and debilitation? An exaltation and debilitation is the place in the ecliptic where the subpersonality that the planet represents is most comfortable. So if you view astrology as planets representing subpersonalities corresponding to subpersonalities, and places in the sky, houses, signs, nakshatras, whatever, corresponding to, archetypal settings. The planets are the characters in the story, and the signs and houses and whatnot are the setting of the story. And if you understand the correspondence between above and below, you can use that to gain insight into what's going to happen in the future. That's the theory. You can believe it or not. Test it before you deny it, though. Pluto is a subpersonality. It's a planet that it represents planning. It represents controlling the outcome of a situation. It represents not just planning, but I would say motivated planning, tactics, strategy. It is, like I said, an aspect of Mars because whereas Mars is a soldier, Pluto kind of represents the intellect of Mars. It represents the ability of a warrior to plot a course that he is going to act on. And Pluto is a very sort of devious, mischievous, very driven planet, and it is related to Mercury, and it deals with information. So if you remember, I was talking about how different planets have a dipole, where there will be a negative and a positive representation of the same thing, and the negative and positive are represented by certain planets. So for instance, regarding desire, Venus and Mars are the negative and positive poles of desire. Society, Saturn and Jupiter are the negative and positive poles of society. Saturn is laws and fixed structure, and Jupiter is social benevolence and the safety that society provides. With creativity and system updating, Uranus and Neptune are the negative and positive sides of creativity. Uranus is creative ideas which specifically improve systems, and Neptune is the sum total of all creative potential and the entropy and decay that comes with too much possibility, analysis paralysis, that kind of thing. And because of that, it also represents nature and whatnot. So Pluto and Mercury form a dipole, where Mercury is a planet of information, but it's kind of a planet of neutral information, data, rather. Whereas Pluto is the negative pole and seeks to utilize that information for its own goals. So whereas Mercury might not necessarily have a plan, especially in the sign of Virgo, which is more like, facts that are what they are. They don't tell you what to do with the facts. Pluto is the facts that you're using to get what you want. Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio, and you can learn more about that in my Scorpio video, but one of the reasons that Scorpio is third from Virgo is that the planning, neutral sort of planning mind, third from that basically is the motivations and goals and the manipulation of your logical and planning mind, and Pluto, it represents that. So that's Pluto. Now, where is Pluto exalted and debilitated? Pluto is exalted and debilitated in the same place as Mercury. It's exalted in the sign of Virgo, and it's debilitated in the sign of Pisces. If you remember from my video on Mercury, Mercury is exalted in Virgo because Mercury likes dealing with information and facts, and doesn't necessarily enjoy dealing with the great unknown that Pisces represents. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. And like I said before, Jupiter is the positive aspect of society, its religion, its belief systems, its culture, whereas Neptune is the sum total of all creative potential. So Pisces is a mutable water sign. It's very sort of chaotically creative. It's looking everywhere and trying to figure out everything and make a theory of everything, and using the imagination to intuitively come to decisions. Whereas that's very uncomfortable for Mercury, because Mercury rules the signs of Virgo and Gemini, which are all about organization and data and communication and speech. Likewise, when Pluto is in the sign of Pisces, the reason it's debilitated there is because it becomes overwhelmed by data, by the raw inputs coming in from nature. If you think about it, in order to have a plan, you need very specific goals and parameters in order to properly carry out that plan. And if you don't have very specific goals and parameters, you kind of drown in complexity, you drown in potential. And, the drown metaphor is no coincidence, because Neptune represents water. So that's basically why Pluto is debilitated in Pisces, because Pisces represents the unknown, the unexpected, the chaotic, and it's impossible to make a plan in the unknown, the chaotic, and the unexpected. So likewise, Pluto is exalted in Mercury, because there the logical planning tactician, the general of your army, has access to the information of Mercury, the logical data, the understanding of the facts, not necessarily of reality, because there may be no facts of reality, but the facts of a particular system, the facts of a discipline, or something some social construct that they can use to understand their environment in a way that you can actually implement. Like, you can't really do anything in a space where nothing is defined, even if that definition is incomplete, as Virgo's definitions often are. If you remember, the dark side of Virgo and Aquarius is unintended consequences, not seeing things, like authoritarianism. The dark side of Earth signs and Saturn in general is authoritarianism. By that I mean, you think that your logical facts are the only logical facts. Pisces destroys that illusion, but that illusion is necessary for Pluto to operate and actually make a plan. So that was my analysis of exalted and debilitated Pluto, and next time I'll be doing exalted and debilitated Rahu and Ketu, so tune in for that.